All you really need is a hard surface. It's just a table. You can use the ground, a brick, something that's not going to give a whole lot because we're doing. And then, you know, I see on the thing, if you've got like a nice little mallet that's nice and pretty or whatever, but I've used rocks to do this. I've used big hammers, little hammers. This is kind of like the perfect little, this is just a little tiny finish nail hammer or whatever. Allows me to control it a little bit better. But I don't think, like I said, I've used everything. It's mainly, if you have to use rocks, you're probably out in the field trying to do this, and that it does work. So you can do it. For right now, I'm going to go out and shoot, so I'm going to, you know, load these up all nice and perfect in a controlled environment. Okay. So you have your 3 pieces here. To deprime it, you don't need these 2. You just need this one. Okay. Set it on the table. You take your spent case. And this can go in 2 ways. This can go in that way, where it's flush, and that's used in a different application, or it will also fit the opposite way, which is like this. And that's what you need it to be to deprime them, because as you can see, it's got a little hole that you want, and you use this tool to put into that little hole, like that. And you take your hammer or rock or whatever, and that's it. And that just came out with a nice little empty primer. And you've got the spent primer underneath. And what I do is I do them all the same. And if you have one handy, if you're a reloader, there's a little primer pocket cleaner that you can use. It's not mandatory, but I suggest that you use it. And you just can kind of clean out. You can kind of see it's a little, you know, dirty in there. I'm going to tap on it and just show you if it'll pick it up. But you just use this guy. It's a large rifle primer deal. And you just sit it in there, spin it a couple times. I blow on it. You can see it's clean. Set it aside and go to the next one. Like that. Oops. It's trying to move it to fit in the center of the camera. All right, so we've got all these ready to go. So I'm gonna get all this spent primers out of the way. All right, so now we are ready to prime. So basically need what you have right here. You can see right here that I actually have used rocks to reprime these Variflame adapters. I was not kidding you. Those are rock marks. It's not from a hammer. So you can do it. It's not that hard. You literally can use, if you find a flat rock, you can put all these things and use the depriming tool, and you could do all this thing on a rock. But for practical purposes, we are going to use a hammer and a bench today. Okay, so you have your Variflame adapter that is unprimed and the primer pocket is clean. We're using the same platform that we did last time, except this time we're going in the other side. We're flipping it around. So now it is flush. Before, it was flipped around and we deprimed it. Now we sit it in there like that. And the next step is you take your primer that's live. Oops. And then you put it on top of that hole. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this is the only part that you have to really pay close attention to. So you can't just throw it up on there and then go to the next step. You need to make sure that the shiny part is facing out, and you need to make sure it's pretty close on that circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be like right there, because when this goes on, it will tell you if you are good or not. That line should be flush, so that is fully closed, and that's what you want to look for. Next step is you need to make sure you see that primer shiny side up. You need to make sure you see that shine when you look down the bottom of that. Okay, what can happen is you can throw it in here pretty quick, and you can get it a little bit like halfway, you know, from this angle. Doesn't look that bad, and then you throw this on there, and all of a sudden you got something going on. It's stuck in there. That's not flush, so you know there's a problem. And this is a kind of a cool deal, because you can actually mess with it a little bit and try to get it. Well, that one kind of got stuck, but anyway, I'm gonna take that out. What you really don't want to see is that right there. So you look at it, you're flush, you're like, okay, let's go. But no, if it accidentally turned around while you weren't looking, or turned around while you put the top on, that's bad. So that's why you always give it a quick look, flip it around, and it's kind of self-adjusting. If you get it pretty close, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I'll even show you, like that's pretty uneven. That's like not, but it's in the right area. It's around the hole, and then you just put this guy on there and just give it a little shake. It's fine. It'll adjust itself, and it'll sit perfect. You got the silver side up, boom. Now the next step, final step, is you put this little, it's a cedar, primer cedar on the hole, inside the hole, and then it sits like there, and there's a little gap, and that's the gap that you're going to close with the hammer, and that's what will seat the primer. So you're going to take your hammer, and you're just going to give it a little bit of a couple pops, and then nothing real hard, but you see it closed up nice and tight, and then the bottom's closed up nice and tight. You're going to give it a little bit of a look, see how it looks. Looks nice and flush to me. So that's what I'm looking for. I make sure that's flush. There's no protrusions. There's no deformations of any kind. So yeah, so we're good to go. All right, so we're going to take a look at the actual action. So the Variflame adapter goes right in here. It is the primer loaded up in there, and it looks like this. Okay, that's a fully primed, ready to go, hot. It's got a little escape valve for the gas, and the ignition system ignites here, and then all your powder and stuff is there, and that's how it works. And then you take these out, you have them loaded up. It comes with a little tool. Comes with a little tool that you actually can load it up like this. You put it in this little tool to make it a little bit easier, and you go right in like that, and then you slide it out, and then you load the mechanism just like that. You fire it, and then usually I just do it with my fingers. I just get it in like that. And what's nice is it stays in. There's like a little, trough right here where it'll stay if you forget about it. So that's it. So that, yeah, it comes with this guy. And then they give you a few of these Variflame adapters with each gun. And I'm just going to go through right now how to change them and how to do it quick and easy. On this guy, I'm going to show you a little trick here. So you have your Variflame cedar tool. So this is what you grab, and it lets you get a hold of the little primer deal, the Variflame adapter. and you slide it in there like that, okay? It kind of takes some practice, you know, to get it in and kind of get the right angle and going at it and stuff. I'm gonna take it out. I'll show you again real quick. But you kind of always want to use gravity, you know, with you. I'm kind of always holding it so where I'm not going in at a real steep angle, because it'll just slide out. So you kind of want to always have pressure on it. And here's a little trick that I learned, because I had a lot of issues when I first started doing this. Is I'd pull it out, I'd go in, I'm trying to get a good angle here, but it's kind of hard to see. You can see it there. Go in, and then I'd loosen the gun or something like that, and then this little guy would rattle out. I would move the gun or whatever, and I would have to do this 3 or 4 times. I'm like, dang. And I put it in the primer seeder. I go in again, and then I'd go like this, and I'd spill it in there. So it's kind of tricky at first. So you always want to have pressure on it. And if you have one of these, you'll understand what I'm saying. But here's my little trick. So when I go in as straight as I can, so there's no gravity, and I always have forward pressure. So as soon as I hit that area, I'm applying pressure, and then it'll slide right into the hole. I leave this guy in there, and then what I do next is I put the bolt right up against it. Not hard at all, but just up against it. And so that way I can pull this out, and I can have my rifle do, you know, it can be at a slant, an incline, whatever, and that adapter is going to stay put, and then I can just close the bolt. So I learned that's a really big trick that helped me is that when I'm priming these guys, is that whether I can kind of do it now with my fingers, but either way, when you get it in, just close it on there. Just get it in there nice and tight. It is not, it's not causing any pressure or anything. I can move this freely, but what it does is just protects it from falling out. So that'll save you some frustration and some time of digging it out of there. I learned I'll show you real quick. I can put these in with my fingers now. It's not impossible. Kind of just pinch them, and you get like, basically you put pressure and then kind of just slide it until you get it right there. And kind of the same deal. So I'll like reach over and I'm going to slide the bolt there and keep it in there so I make sure it doesn't fall out. So there you go. You can do it with this guy or with your hands. It takes a little bit of practice. Sometimes you got to crimp these a little bit right here. If they get too loose, they won't hold that adapter. But yeah, that's the Variflame adapter system. Really simple. You can do it in the field, but it's really easy to do it anywhere with minimal tools. They give you everything that you need. This little guy, you can pick up real cheap anywhere, and some of them look a little bit different, but it's just a primer pocket cleaner is what they're called. And then yeah, you pick up some primers and you're ready to go. I got a few more to do, and I'm gonna do the rest of those, and then get ready to go shoot.